Hi again, guys. Robert from GOFS, Gothenburg Historical Fencing School, discussing my own views on Verborgene Haw with the second video. I try to isolate the footwork to get the hand movements that I think it's important in when we discuss the Verborgene Haw. So I just try to minimize them as much as possible. We're just concentrating on the handwork, whatever we should call it. Not a hand job, because that's wrong. Not wrong, but it's not appropriate talking about the Verborgene Haw. As I talked about before, Verborgene Haw is something that will protect you, hide what you're trying to do against your opponent, and just getting you many options to do a cut without them discovering what you are planning to do. And I also talked about how I like to think with my pommel instead. Well, I think I just said that, but yes, this is my thoughts when I talk about how I think with the pommel. Usually when I discuss cuts with my partners here at GHFS, many times they refer to where the point ends up when you're finishing the cut. And I like to think where my pommel ends up, because the point should, as I know, but it doesn't really happen all the time, but I'm still trying, will be against the opponent's head or face or chest. So instead of thinking where the point is, I think where the pommel ends up. And if we're thinking about Swede I'm, it goes more or less like this, and I drag the pommel towards me, I end up here. The slash, the pommel is up here. I change the sword, the shield, almost exactly the same position with the pommel. Not really, can have it a little bit lower. The scheitel and the krump. And as we have different opinions about what the krump looks like, I try to do the other krump I know of, really, with the short edge. Still ends up here. That is my thoughts about thinking about pommel, or my way of thinking with the pommel, really. So I don't really think the point ends up there. So I try to, if I do a cut, where will the pommel be? And I think for me it's easier to think that way, especially now regarding Verborgene Haw, because I still want to do this part of the cut the same way, more or less. Use my right hand the same way, and then I alter a left hand, or the pommel, if you like. And also, discussing the footwork I think it's a problem when discussing Verborgene Haw, because if you have proper distance, footwork, and just reaction time, you will always beat anybody. If you're so good at it, and at the moment you're doing the right footwork, you will beat your opponent. So I will not go in very deep on footwork, because I think it's another discussion, really. The footwork should always be proper and exact, and it's extremely important. It's a really hard time to do all the different Verborgene Haws without the footwork, because much of the cuts is depending on what footwork we're doing. They're more or less the same, and just isolating your legs is really messing this up. So I will answer the before said questions about footwork, but I think I will try to concentrate more on just the cuts, or the cutting mechanisms, if you excuse me. The footwork is, as I said before, I think the biggest chance you ever have to winning a fight. If your footwork is poor, you will lose. Thank you, and goodbye.